community patent is something which is a long-standing story, and it is a primary immediate political issue. What we dealt with were, and the policy options which have been formulated, were the insertion of the economic mission of the patent system in the European Patent Convention. It was the enhancing governance within the European patent system. As you may see, these are larger political frameworks, improving the quality aspects in regard to patentability standards and patent grant procedures, and dealing with emerging technologies, increasing access to patent invention and facilitating defensive publications. Now, within the enhancing the governance of the patent system, there was a proposal to have a more permanent work in the European Parliament linked to this, and this is how it came to a second project, which is called Current Policy Issues in the Governance of the European Patent System, which we had a major conference in March. And here we treated the backlog issue, the enhancement of the patent awareness within the European Parliament, and this is how we continue with the current project. We've treated the patent enforcement, the regional dimension of IP, patents and standardization, the use of existing patents and competition. Now, during this conference, it became obvious that there is a need for a European strategy on IPR. So IPR in Europe, as we can see, is a much larger issue than only some issues which are going on for years now, and there is a room for having a platform in the European Parliament for permanent discussions. And that is what STOA is trying to do. And this workshop, we hope that it will contribute to formulate a certain framework for both for discussions within the European Parliament, but also to give a background or to give support to create a real European strategy in IPR. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miklos. We've heard this morning that drinking coffee is important, but coffee is served at the table, as you've noticed. There's very little room in the program for having a break. So to be interactive, please be interactive as much as possible. And to allow for interactivity, I'm going to ask the speakers to be very brief in their statements and really focus on what they want the Parliament and the Commission to do, and really focus on this. We are going to take the panelists in the order as they are listed in the program. We'll have to excuse Paul Iske from ABN AMRO. He is not available here, so we have six panelists left, and that includes Ms. Fröhlinger. May I ask Andras Jokut?
Thank you very much. I will be talking about the prospects of enhanced partnership between the European Patent Office and the national patent offices. It cannot really be contested that sharing the work in general leads to greater efficiency. Now, if we take a look at the European patent landscape right now, this statement seems to have an element of truth that reaches far beyond this general commonplace. In fact, for the patent system in Europe, work sharing is not only desirable, but also inevitable if we want the legal protection of inventions to remain a viable driver of innovation on our continent. It is not only concerns about quality and timeliness that require an enhanced partnership between the EPO and the national patent offices, but also factors of cost and the attractiveness of the European patent system. It goes without saying that talking about issues of work sharing and also setting the envisaged mechanisms in motion is not only relevant in the context of the community patent, but this project, the project of the community patent, can indeed trigger the continuation of this very important process. Now, during the previous presidencies and during the Swedish presidency, noteworthy ideas in noteworthy papers were tabled during the negotiations on the community patent. The necessity to involve national patent offices into the substantive work of the EPO is now broadly recognized, and it has also become clear that the regrettable fragmentation of the European patent system can very well be turned into a well-oiled and effective network which boosts beneficial patent activity and at the same time discourages the abuse of this IP instrument. Now, we in Hungary firmly believe that only this network-based approach can prove to be fruitful in the long run. And when it comes to the community patent, the common political approach of 2003 is only the starting point in terms of partnership. Enhanced cooperation indeed has the potential to both tackle the worrying backlog issues and contribute to the quality of patents granted in Europe. Strengthening the national patent infrastructure, we think, equally serves the interests of local industries and the overall competitiveness of the European Union. Now, there are two key elements that have to be borne in mind. Firstly, the role of the national patent offices is not limited to self-financing and survival. They are indeed capable of high-quality work, and they are depositories of knowledge which cannot be found elsewhere. This is one reason why they should be treated as partners. Secondly, it is not financial subventions that national patent offices need, but instead substantial work. If we see the ever-raising demand for patent protection, one cannot really blame the system for operating without workload. In this context, reaching the optimal balance is only a question of work distribution. The basis of this process should obviously be the European Patent Network, set up within the European Patent Organization, and the initial experiences gained from its functioning. The utilization project, the European quality system, and even the temporarily suspended but not abandoned outsourcing ideas are the cornerstones of an effective work-sharing agreement. Recent developments in the international patent environment fully justify these endeavors. It is enough to recall the patent prosecution highway projects and the IP5 projects, which reflect the very same insights on an international scale. Still, symptoms such as bilateral agreements between certain European and Asian offices on sharing search work show that the potential in European cooperation is far from being fully exploited. However, all said and done, there are some icebergs which should be avoided when we are sailing on the ocean of fruitful cooperation. One of these is the fallacy of the applicant's choice principle in the partnership projects. It is almost trivial that the freedom to choose the route to get patent protection does not and should not equal to the freedom to choose the methods of searching and examining at the authorities themselves. Now, which applicant in this world would choose on his own motion a more effective way to unearth prior art? It is no wonder that the utilization pilot project had to be transformed into an office-driven model, and that the major international work-sharing initiatives were originally constructed this way. Another pitfall might be an unhealthy reliance on machine translations. A much more desirable goal would be that national patent offices make themselves capable of working at least in one of the EPO languages. On a similar note, specialization in terms of technical fields should have its limits. Shifts in strength in certain areas are acceptable, but no patent office should be in a position where it cannot search or examine applications